Hey moms, this is Coach Zoe. We are going to be doing a prenatal core workout, okay? Safe for all trimesters. You should have to modify it as little as possible. Of course, if you always want to adjust, okay, based on your belly, you can step it up as much as you need to, or again, adjust it down. I am doing a day, so I don't think that you will have to really modify too much, okay? But otherwise, let's get started with our warm-up. So today is a core workout. We're going to find a side-to-side jumping jack here. Today is a core workout. Okay, so core meaning not abs, right? I know everybody's like, core is abs, right? Washboard abs, or even if you don't want washboard abs, right? You just think right here, right? And you're kind of probably thinking, what do I need to do that for? My belly is a mile away from me, okay? But core is the trunk of your body. Okay, so from here to here is your core, believe it or not. So chest, back, yes, abdominals, those obliques, okay, and your low back as well. All right, from here, we're just going to twist through the hips and reach up at an angle, okay, kind of like you're doing shot put for those of you that ever have. All right, so we're not twisting against the hips, we're twisting with the hips. But anyways, core of the body, so the entire trunk. So today's workout is going to be focused on all of those areas, working them safely, but we are going to get a little bit of other parts of the body in just because of the nature of the workout. All right, and now let's reach side to side. We are going to kind of crunch here, all right, but we're not trying to smoosh down. Okay, we're still keeping lots of length as we reach down side to side. Okay, but the most important part of working core, in my opinion, okay, especially during prenatal, is the back. Okay, we have so much work that back needs to do all day, every day, okay, to keep this belly supported. So we're really going to make sure that we're working the back. All right, putting your hands behind your head. We're going to open that chest, look up to the ceiling, and then just gently crunch down, bring those elbows together. Look at the ceiling, open up, and gently crunch down. Go ahead and do a few repetitions. I'll talk a little bit more after this because the mic is going to be jumping all around. Good, and hold here. Let's get those arms out to the side and reach side to side now. So just reaching side to side. But again, so we're not going to be doing obviously any type of crunches or sit-ups or anything like that you typically think of with core. Okay, we're going to be working that full trunk of the body in all directions. Okay, but again, a little extra focus on those back muscles. Okay, so this is kind of one of my favorites because core is it's like the foundation to your fitness, no matter who you are or what stage you are at. All right, next we're going to draw those elbows together. It's going to feel like mostly upper body. We're doing, obviously for a reason, we're going to draw those elbows and palms together and then open the chest. Elbows and palms together, open the chest. I want you to really focus on pulling those shoulder blades together behind you and then squeezing that chest together. Okay, and the reason that the core is the full trunk of the body, and that's how we want to look at it, is because your chest, your back, it's all woven together, right? Those muscles wind all through the trunk. So it's really hard to really just isolate them anyways. So it doesn't really make sense. All right. Let's work your hips just a little bit because we are going to be doing a little bit of squatting. So some circles and the other side, other direction. Ooh, sorry. And now let's find just a nice short little shallow squat. Good. So we're going to find one squat and one hinge. Keep going. One squat, one hinge. One squat, one hinge. Okay. Just warming up those hips. Your hips are not really part of your core, but I kind of include them in that as well because, again, your body is just one big unit. But it doesn't make sense to only do your abdominals, right? And do your core. And again, if we're keeping that belly supported, you're going to find a lot more comfort throughout your pregnancy, and your postpartum recovery should be maybe a little faster Okay, shake it out. So today's workout, just gonna give you a quick play. If you wanna get a drink or you wanna stay moving, let's go side to side as we cross those arms. Okay, but today's workout, we're gonna work through all 10 of our movements. We're gonna do 45 seconds of each, short rest. Your rest break is really Coach Zoe's demonstration time. But of course, if you need more rest, get a quick drink. You will have a longer break halfway, and then we're gonna do it all again, but for 30 seconds at a time, so not quite as long. All right, so it is a longer workout, even though we're just working our core, but you should feel like you did a full workout, right? And that's the goal, because sometimes we just don't have the energy or the desire, right, to do a full body blaster every time. All right, so I'm gonna start my timer. Let's get ready. We're gonna start with an overhead squat. So I want those biceps aligned with your ears as you squat down. Good, and let's get started. So the reason I'm standing sideways is so that you can see the alignment of my spine. So you're gonna feel a lot of activity in your back and probably, especially in that upper back, right, maybe in your shoulders. We wanna make sure that we're not here, right? No like T-Rex, lazy daisy nonsense. I want you reaching and drawing those shoulders back and down the body. For 3, 2, 1, and a short break. Next, we're gonna get a standing side crunch. So alternate and squeeze that leg up, okay? But keep going. Sorry, I told you to stop. I told you to stop, and you weren't supposed to stop. Keep going and rest. Sorry. All right, next we're gonna go into that standing side crunch, okay? Squeezing those obliques down. Ready? Get started at 3, 2, 1. Let's begin. Reaching those arms up nice and high, elbow to knee. Of course, you don't have to touch, okay? You might not even be able to. I barely am able to at this point, okay? But we want to focus on drawing the knee up and squeezing the elbow down and in, okay? So we're not just like, again, going through the motion. Really focus on feeling that contraction, okay? And try to keep that connection as wide as possible. So as far out to the sides as you can. We got about 15 more seconds. Deep breaths. Good, almost there. I know those hips are probably whining a little bit, so that's what I mean is it's hard to really isolate the trunk. Your hips and shoulders are gonna kind of work too and rest. All right, so next we're gonna go into an overhead deadlift. So overhead work, even though you think that that's shoulders, okay, it's not. It's a lot of upper back, okay, a lot of upper back, and those erectors are gonna kick in. So overhead deadlift, we're gonna hinge, right, in our deadlift motion, but we're gonna keep those hands overhead. All right, so find as wide of a stance as you need. Notice my biceps are in line with my ears at all times. Okay, again, you're gonna feel a lot of activity up here. And you're thinking, my core is my abs, right? But obviously, that belly is big. Those aren't getting very much work at this point, okay? They are, but they're not. And we're not even gonna be trying to work those because it's not really safe at this point. But if you have a nice strong back, you'll be able to keep a good posture, and then you're not gonna feel so weak here. Okay, so go ahead and rest. Next, we have a sumo squat hold, okay? And we're gonna reach side to side, okay? Reaching side to side, let's go. And you don't have to really hold that squat too low. Again, it gives you some, makes you work your core for some stability, right? So instead of just standing here and going through it, gives you a little more work to do. So if you need to straighten your legs, if they're burning up too much, that's totally fine. Notice I'm keeping my shoulders far away from my sides, right? And that might kind of be confusing, like, what are you talking about? I'm not scrunching down. I'm not smooshing everything together, right? Trying to keep some space between my arm and my side, right? My shoulder and my hip, and rest. Okay. Next, we're gonna work our overhead side lunge. Okay, so you can step into it, or you can just keep those feet planted. arms overhead, and finding that side lunge. So again, when we do our side lunges, it's kind of like a hinge and a squat mixed together, right? Because we're hinging those hips forward, because as we squat our butt down to the side, all right, we have to adjust that upper body because our stance is wide. So again, those arms are gonna be burning a little bit, your shoulders probably are feeling it, but it's really the back that's getting a lot of work right now. So I told you this is gonna be focused a lot on our posterior chain. If I didn't say that, just read my mind. You should be able to read my mind by this point, right? Good, and rest. Now I know it looks like I was kind of bending forward. I wasn't exaggerating that. It's just naturally gonna happen, okay? All right, next we're gonna have a lateral reach. So for here, you can find that sumo stance again, but I think it's a little too stressful when your belly's bigger. So I'm going to keep my feet just hip width, but we're gonna reach side to side. You don't need to reach far, okay? Because if you try to reach too far, you're gonna really be stressing that belly. Just too much, I think. Too much for my preference. So try to focus on keeping your hands in line with your shoulders as you reach side to side, and you will feel that activation. Okay, this is really good because when you have your baby, okay, you're gonna be like carrying that baby around all the time while you're doing things. And we don't always move in just super organic ways, right? Plus, I'm sure most of us are only side sleeping at this point. And when you're always side sleeping, you're lengthened on that side, kind of weakens you. Go ahead and rest. All right, almost there. We're gonna get to the floor now. So we're gonna find a right flying hydrant instead of a fire hydrant. So your right arm, your right leg, and your left arm. Okay, so right hydrant, fly it out. Right hydrant, fly it out. So again, opposite arm and leg. Now, obviously this is core, right? Because there's so much stabilization going on. Pulling that belly in. We're just staying on this side. Okay, just staying on this side. You're gonna feel it mostly in the side where the leg is moving, right? So if you're following me and you're using your right leg, those right obliques are really gonna be kicking in. Pull that belly in, create that vacuum, right? We're almost there, ladies, stay with me. Woo! This one's tough. Again, and what else are we doing? We're not just stabilizing, we're not just vacuuming. Go ahead and rest. But now, we're also working those shoulders again, right? Because we have those flies. So next we have our side plank. So if your right leg was moving, let's keep that right leg down and reach arms up or overhead. And you can hold, you can pulse, right? Or you could just stay right here with that foot extended, whichever feels best to you. Okay, so foot on the ground, foot in the air, or pulse. Feel a little bit of booty, a little bit of those hip stabilizers. You can even have your hand on your hip. All right, make sure your knee is under your hip, your hand is under your shoulder. A little hard to balance, that's okay. If you're doing the pulse, you're gonna get a little extra work on that top side too. So kind of like that extra credit Coach is always talking about. For 3, 2, 1, and rest. We're gonna go back to our flying hydrant, this time with the opposite limbs, okay? So if your right leg was moving, your left leg is going to be moving now. Again, opposite arm and leg. I'm gonna face you just so you can see the angles, okay? So left knee out, right arm, or vice versa if you switch. And you can touch, because we're doing a longer interval, touch those legs down to the floor just for a moment. Reestablish your base, right? Find your footing, find your balance. We're not trying to fly through the reps here. I'd rather you get just 10 really good burning slow reps rather than 15 or 20 little halfies. No halfies, right? So you should feel that upper back working, lots of stabilization through the core, vacuuming the belly up, and rest. Okay, now my left leg was down, so I'm gonna keep my left leg down again, or my left leg was moving, I'm gonna keep my left leg down now. I'm gonna do that side plank on the other. If this is uncomfortable for your underside of the belly, okay, feel free to elevate a little higher, like on your couch or a chair. Okay, so let's go ahead again. You can hold, you can pulse, or you can just keep that leg on the floor. All right, but whatever works for you. I'm gonna pulse, maybe reaching up to the ceiling, maybe reaching overhead. I find overhead reach a little more challenging. Maybe you're even doing an extra credit by adding a crunch in. All right, woo! Or you're doing a little snow angel action. Good. And again, you're gonna feel that booty complaining just a little bit. We got 5 more seconds here, and then we have a break. And rest. All right, so you get a bit of an extra break. We have a whole minute and 15 seconds. Okay, so get some water, shake it out. So that went fast, right? First round through. We're gonna go through again, but 30 seconds of work this time. So you've been through it already once. You got the idea. So remember all 10 exercises. No, I'm just kidding. All right, I'll still walk you through it. But you have the idea of how it should feel, okay? So not saying that we need to necessarily work faster, but we're not spending time figuring it out. All right, so just 30 seconds of work, still getting that little 15-second transition time, and then one time done, that's it, we're finished. All right, so I told you this core workout was a little bit of a sneaky, kind of a full body workout. Not totally, not really, but we are doing squats and deadlifts and things like that. Those arms are working overhead, okay? But this is the big picture here. All right, so we got 10 seconds. We're gonna go back to our overhead squat. Focus on all of our overhead movements. I want those arms as long as possible, active in the hands, biceps in line with the ears. Let's get started. Nice big squat down as far as you can, and you're gonna squat down as low as you can without compromising your form. So what does that mean? So you can only get to here, but those biceps are nice and close to your ears, elbows are long, that's great. If you go a couple more inches and you break down, don't do it. All right, just take it as low as you can, where you're not compromising the posture of the movement, and rest. Okay, see 30 seconds goes quick. Next is our standing side crunch. So arms up, we're gonna bring the elbow to knee as we alternate, keep it wide. All right, so get ready. A little bit of cardio on this one, I know. Let's go. So elbow to knee crunch. Keep it open, keep it wide. Focusing on bringing that knee up as high as you can. Okay, in a safe way. And you're squeezing that elbow down and in towards the waist. Okay. I don't have a waist anymore this way, so I don't really know what that word means. But you get the gist. For 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, overhead deadlift. So again, that hinge motion, overhead, right? I like this one a lot. This is one of my favorites because it really forces your upper back, really forces you to find that posture and maintain, okay? So as wide of a stance as you need, hinging nice and deep, hips go back, knees stay over the ankles, and we're focused on that reach. So again, a lot of activity in that upper back, even in your erectors, okay, especially in your erectors when we're doing our overhead, because our arms are now the weight, right? If we were just doing this with our arms down, it's a lot less weight to carry, right? You should be able to feel the difference and rest. Okay, next we're gonna do our sumo side bend. So again, if the sumo is a little too much, or you're like, Coach Zoe, you tricking me, I didn't want to do legs today. Okay, just stand with your feet about hip width. But otherwise, let's get started. Side bends. Okay, if you have some little weight you want to add into it, but I'm gonna bet most of us aren't very mindful when we do these. So that's why I like the sumo edition, because, right, you feel a little out of balance this way. So as you're crunching and looking up to the ceiling, you're really kicking those obliques in to do that work. 3, 2, 1, and rest. All right, so stepping into it or keeping those feet wide, it's up to you, but we have our overhead side lunge. So I'm gonna go at an angle here this time. so you can see the difference, right, as I sit back. So notice I'm not trying to lean forward, but there's a slight hinge there, right? Slight hinge. And that's why the upper body, right, that upper back, I really should be saying, that's why your upper back is feeling it, okay? So I'm gonna keep going, but I'm gonna face you. Again, I'm not trying to lean forward. I still wanna keep my vision up. Okay, pretty much wanna keep that vision up almost at all times. But, right, those bellies are heavy. They're gonna pull us down and rest. All right, we have our lateral reach. So again, just a nice wide stable stance. You can do that sumo stance if you want. We're gonna keep those hands in line with our shoulders. Okay, nice and wide. Starting in 3, 2, 1, just reaching side to side. I like to look away from where I'm reaching because it kind of encourages me to keep those hands in line. Helps me check myself. And we don't need to go fast here. In fact, I'd rather you not go fast. Good, 10 more seconds. I'm just reaching side to side. Hands in line with the shoulders. Woo! And rest. All right, we're down to the floor. We got 4 more, but 2 more exercises, but on each side. So we're going to our flying fire hydrant next, okay? So I'm gonna do my right leg, my left arm. Let's fly it out. Flying fire hydrants. So again, we're still focused on a nice, slow and controlled pace. And now that we've done it once, we know exactly where to activate. So we can kind of get maybe a couple more reps in. A little faster, I guess. I'm saying, I guess. Not really. Good, almost there. 5 more seconds, ladies. And rest. All right, side plank. So whatever leg was moving, that's the side you're gonna be on. Again, mine was the right, so I'm on the right. Starting in 3, 2, 1, side plank. We can hold. We can hold at the bottom. We can pulse. We can crunch. We can jump around. No, I'm just kidding. All right, whatever you want to do. All right, this is our real last push for the day on each side. So you want to get that little extra burst of energy out. You're feeling strong. You're feeling good. All right, let me see what you can do. Come on, you came to work today. You came to work today. Make the most of it. And break. All right, same thing, other side, then you're done. So I want to see you push. Okay, just don't push the baby out. I'm not a doctor, I can't deliver. Okay, shut up, Coach Zoe. Let's get started. Opposite sides again. So my turn is the left leg and the right arm. You want to keep that nice, strong 90-degree at the knee. And make sure that you're raising the arm and leg at the same pace. So I don't want to be doing my leg, then my arm, and kind of whipping around. The whole idea is for both limbs to move at the same time. If that's too intense, totally just do the hydrant. Totally just do the hydrant. And rest. All right. Side plank. Get ready. You got a few seconds. But again, whatever leg was moving, go to that side. Or if you flip-flopped them, just make sure you're working both sides. Get ready, 3 seconds. 2, 1, let's go. Side plank. Arm could be overhead, arm could be over on the floor, holding in the air, crunching, pulsing. I don't care. I just want you to give me your last 30 seconds of work to your best ability. You showed up. You came to work. All right, now prove it. Let's go. Come on, mamas. You're tough. You can do it. I'm part of that tough love team. And rest. All right, let's get on those feet and shake it out. Let's roll your hips to start. So just nice little pelvic circles. Woo! How are you feeling? Is that back a little tired, a little fatigued? Woo! I feel it. Good, I'm just gonna do some over-unders. Again, because our upper back got a lot of work in. So notice how core turns into a whole new meeting when we work it that way, rather than just thinking like bicycle crunches and sit-ups and rushing twists, okay? that is not the only part of your core, okay? And I'm going to do like a little upper body circle. So just hands on my hip, on my waist, and just kind of very gently open my chest and close it in both directions. Okay, so again, during pregnancy, your back is so important to keep strong and active because, right, that belly is pulling you forward. The belly is doing so much work in this direction, and that's why you'll see, like, when you're like, oh, or maybe you feel that, or maybe you feel like you're pinching back there, or you wake up and your hips are a bag of bones. Okay, if we can keep everything strong around the belly that supports it from the back end, okay, you'll feel better on the front end. All right, moms, that is it. Thank you for joining me. Stay strong, stay tough, and I'll see you next time.